lo and behold, she was. She manages to make a good discipline laydown. Looks like there was a little bit of non-believing going on, but she manages to find the fold, gets away, and saves herself a turn bet there. Very well played. So 95 of you in the chat. Love to see a couple more. Please, let's try and get that to 100. Please like and share. It's facebook.com/cashgamefestival. We've got twitter.com/cashfestival. And Wacky Jacks himself just chucking a little bit of
I'm actually sending out a tweet to just give people a shout out that follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get Poker News to do a little retweet of that as well.
You must have quite a lot of tick followers and following, because you know a lot of poker players and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's around 2,400. So
really? Wow.
Yeah, most
okay.
of that's poker players. My Facebook is more of like a personal thing. I don't post that much poker there, and then Twitter's mostly poker.
You just keep that for friends.
Or banter.
Yeah. I think people can get a little bit, even though obviously we are putting out great free content, it does get a bit much if you're constantly sort of shoving it in people's face, you know, and I think, you know, there's too much of that going on Facebook these days. People are like, you know, look what I'm up to, and it's much more important to ramp that down, especially if it's for a corporate aspect. Mafia Boy XXX been in the chat all week long. Thanks very much for joining us. We're going to do a a fish party giveaway. So we've got 10 tickets. We're going to give 3 tickets now for the first 3 people that can tell me two-time Cash Game Festival trophy winners. You're going to get yourself a €5 fish party ticket.
Someone else picks it, it's even funner. Yeah.
Let's see how many people are actually listening to us rifle on through here. Roseboom 1981, what up? So Jeffrey's got himself the first one there. Problem is with the chat now, he's got the first correct answer, so everyone will know the game. So the next 2 people to give us two-time winners of the Cash Game Festival, get yourself a €5 ticket for 32 Red. Fish party. There we go, Carpet Catcher and Luke Ollie. Unfortunately, Julie just misses out, and John Kite and Martin Von Stiek. But how do you pronounce Frankie's surname?
Just call him Franke.
Franke, yeah.
Von Zweigwerk.
Yeah. Okay, so Jeffrey, Carpet Catcher and Luke Ollie 10, get us your 32 red names and we'll get those free fish party tickets into your account pronto.
Who doesn't love a fish party, by the way?
Yeah,
Any
right.
kind of fish party, whether it's a poker fish party, a fish party on 32 red, or...
We had the live fish parties as well, which looked like a lot of fun. Cad Rob, I think that's Rob Caddick. He's in one of the poker chats that I'm in quite actively.
You're in a lot of poker chats as well.
Yeah, I talk a lot of poker, a lot of sort of... I don't know, it's just nice to hear people's perspectives on hands, you know. Those guys grinding out in Vegas, they're sort of talking amongst themselves a lot of the time, but it seems to be a recurring theme that the American regs maybe are running pretty good out there, you know. It's tough to put them on a hand as well.
That's never stopped me.
Poker Alias, actually just both. Great stuff, Rob. Thanks for tuning in.
Is Nick Diaz in the chat as well? Because we should give a shout out to him for 32 Red hosting this amazing free roll and giving away fish party tickets.
Absolutely, we will get that sorted now. I'm sure Henry's on hand to help us out with that.
And Michael with the 3-bet here from early position, will likely take it down, and it does. This isn't actually a tight pull by Jesus. Stacks aren't really big enough for him to get full value out of just going with 3s and set mining. And he's out of position. If you're in position, you can make your effect size, stack sizes a little bit shorter.
That might be Franke in the chat.
Franke?
Yeah, Speak of the Devil. Is that his username there?
Yes, yeah. Franke Swede
Awesome.
for Sweden. Franke!
And Carpet Catcher, thank you very much, Nick, and Cash Game Festival. Yeah, it's been an awesome effort from both the 32 Red and the Unibet Poker this week. We've been really honoured to be just giving away free roll after giveaway after free roll, and that Cash Game Hybrid tournament was fun. €2,000 free roll, guys. The password for that in the chat, Sunny Beach, which is also the next stop. If you haven't heard us talk about that, where have you been for the last couple of days? Because we are buzzing to be going there on the 8th to the 12th of August. It's going to be a fun-filled stop. 12 steps from the beach out the front of the casino, and also a vibrant party atmosphere as well. So really looking forward to that one.
And if you have a few bucks on 32 red, the structure can even be better for you because there are €5 rebuys for the first hour, so you can immediately wind up with a 3K stack instead of 1,500, and then a 3K add-on at the first break or an hour in. So quite a lot of value to just take a 1,500 and free roll it, but if you want to spend an extra €5 or an extra €10, increase your chances to win. There's something for everybody. Or if you wind up getting pelted early, you can get right back in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And she takes down the button. She looks happy to. Michael Tawny was good. Henry smashed it. Yeah, he said he cashed out for about 420 quid.
Yeah.
Not bad for 100 free roll, is it?
No, not at all.
In for the min, out for the max, as our UK legend Will Soof likes to say. And right, so let's do another bit of fun for the next 3 fish party tickets. The winner of the next pot over 50 quid. Winner of the next pot over 50 quid. Get your names in there, and whoever gets that right will get themselves a fish party ticket.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Where's the button? Seat 2. So I think Forbes, Michael, or Estonian Jesus might be the shrewd play. Forbes won't shy away from the button. I don't think I've ever seen him fold a button. In fact, whenever I've 3-bet him and he's on the button, it's tough to get rid of him. He's a sticky customer, as Forbes. But then again, he did show some great nous to fold the queen too. As you say, it would have been quite easy just to pay off that river bet, Michael having flopped the nut straight. And that's where you really make your money, by saving money in poker in many ways sometimes.
I was going to say Nick, but he just got up from his seat, so he has his chip still there. I'll still go with Nick. I think he's going to return to his seat. I don't think this pot count. I think
this pot counts. Yeah, this pot definitely counts. A lot of people saying Duong as well. Seat 1. She's been fairly active. So that seems this is a very wide C bet here if the graphics are correct. 7-5. Nothing really to work with. Does favour the range of hands that Ian may have come along with on the button, and
there's really no reason for Ian to continue along here either, though. So I think it's going to work.
You don't think so? Backdoor. He's got himself a gut shot on a backdoor flush draw. He's got
just
position.
bet on the sizing of the bet.
Yeah, it was quite a big bet. She's bet pot size bet with the 7 high, putting them in the bin. £36 pot, so unfortunately we're not going to count that one. But
and some of that was the bet too, so we have to keep that in mind, that if it's taken down, how it's taken down. Even if it doesn't just say 50 there, it had to be 50 chips coming back.
For sure. 97 of you guys. We'd like to get to 100 viewers. Please share. It's we've been putting out this content, obviously free of charge for you guys at home, and we do really appreciate a share. Just means that more people can hear about the great things that we're doing here at the Cash Game Festival. More value, and the bigger it gets, the more giveaways we're going to be giving out. So,
what do you think Franke's announcing now?
I think we're going for the raffle, for the high hands.
The raffle.
The raffle. So we've got a couple more shouts. Roseboom, who do you think is going to win the next pot over 50 quid, mate? We're giving out €5 fish party tickets for 32 red, if you can guess that correctly.
I told you I wasn't good at counting.
Okay, so we may be a little bit quiet because we may hear about who the winner is at the same time.
We will.
We'll try to keep up with the commentating as well.
Shall I go over there and try and find out so we can...
Yeah, why don't you do that? We're going to try to find out who the promotion winners of our packages. Players won tickets to a raffle by having quads or better. 1 ticket for quads, 2 tickets for a straight flush, and 3 tickets for a royal flush. And 3 players are going to be chosen out for Cash Game Festival packages to Sunny Beach, Bulgaria, so quite exciting for them.
Oh, I win. It's only post.
And I'll have to keep my eye open also for pots over 50. And that is Franke, you may hear in the background, the Cash Game Festival co-founder. He was making announcements to the crowd. And interesting that nobody has gotten up from the table yet, so it looks like all the players are enjoying their experience. That's always good to see. We did see one player get felted with a short stack and buy back in. And keep in the guesses. It's going to be the first 3 on any of the names, so guess a different name. If you see 3 guesses already at a name, the first person to win a pot over 50. If you chose their name, one of the first people, then you will get a fish party ticket. Compliments at 32 red.
Number 1, number 2, fold. Number 3, fold.
And Jesus may decide to open the button. Nope, he's playing pretty tight.
6, check.
And it looks like Louis,
5,
is he going to...
7, raise.
Okay, so we have a raise from here somewhere. From Louis to 8. From the big blind. So Michael limped, Louis raised, and Louis takes down a small pot. You'll see that every once in a while, even at cash games. Obviously in tournaments, there's nothing to see here. That happens quite often.
Sounds like we made a good film.
You might have done. I can't remember. Yeah, I can't hear anything. I can't hear.
And Duong once again still with the big stack. Forbes down a little bit to 417. They bought in for the most money. Jesus is up about 100. He bought in for 200. Everybody else more or less even or down a little bit.
You were on that, though.
This would be a loose open by Nick, but he makes it. So this could be the pot that goes over 50 pounds, open to 7. I think we'll see Forbes come along.
If you're please make yourself known.
And I think we may see Jesus come along as well, even though he's been playing pretty tight. It is suited. He may even decide to 3-bet, but I think he's just going to call. Michael will likely call from the button as well, but I don't mind the fold with 3 players in front of you and 2 behind. Although you are in position in the hand, you never really know where you stand with hands like Ace-10. Okay, we didn't see the hands in the blinds, but they both got out of the way. So we're already at 32 going into the flop, so the pot doesn't need to get that much bigger.
4 players.
And an all-club flop, so Forbes is actually loving this flop, even though he did not flop a pair. He has the nut flush draw. Nick not hating life completely, although he wishes this wasn't all clubs. With the open-ended straight draw, this board didn't hit Jesus or Michael at all, but if it checks over to them, we may see a bet anyway, and just trying to take down the hand, which Michael does. So if we do get a call here by any of the players, the pot will be over 50. Otherwise, officially, it's still at 32, but I think Forbes is going absolutely nowhere this hand, so this should be it, no matter how you want to look at it.
Number 3, call.
Forbes thinking, I believe, about, he just calls, and Jesus will get out of the way. I think with the stack sizes, the call is fine. You could have found the raise there, hoping either to take it down or just to get it in. But Michael's stack is a little bit too big to get it in there. This may go check check. Michael may want to continue along with strength here as well. It looks like he's reaching for his chips, so we will see another bet. And depending on the sizing, he may be able to bet Forbes out of the pot. He maybe just put his opponent on a flush draw.
4 is 1.
And it looks like that's a bet of around 42. Looking at the graphics will be up soon. It could be 47. Yep, it is 47. So about half the pot. And good takedown from Michael. So whoever had Michael in the chat, we will let George know when he comes back. He will take a look at who the winners are.
What a fucking lie. He's obviously got aces.
But Michael using the power position to take down a nice pot.
What, limp the bottom?
Come on. Ace queen. Never.
And Duong still with a lot of the chips on the table. Joseph's still pretty short. And then a bunch of mid stacks. Forbes with almost 200 big blinds. Same with Louis.
Half an hour, George is going to be like, what a flop for Michael.
We'll see a snap fold from Queen 2 suited from Duong based on how she's played.
A lot of controversy over there for the prize draw on the raffle.
Controversy. That
Well,
surprises me.
well, not controversy, but people just haven't turned up. It's
Oh,
not,
wow. Do you have to be here to
You
win
have
it
to
at
be
this
here
one?
to win it. 1,500 worth of juice there.
Wow.
And one of the players that won was a player I was playing PLO all night with, Duncan.
Oh,
Yeah, and I know he's a super nice guy as well.
8 raise 7.
So
it depends on the different stops. Sometimes you have to be here, sometimes you don't. So I would have loved to have seen Duncan win it.
yeah,
Duncan's been in the booth before too, so some of you actually may know Duncan. He wasn't at this stop, but he's been on the feature
Yeah.
table a few times.
and British Aussie, I think. No, just a really, really nice guy and great for the game. Have we had a pot over
Yes,
50?
Michael just took down a pot with none of the board. It was over 100 pounds, so there's
Yeah.
no controversy here. There could be controversy if we misread the names in the chat, though. That's the only controversy we possibly could have.
Folding.
You're making me like becoming sweet and playing love stream.
Did anyone guess Michael in time? It's
I
tough to
believe
know.
somebody did. I saw a yes in there.
Oh, is that Miko? Yeah, Miko's got it. We'll give. Oh, did he get it in time? It's tough to tell, isn't it? I think we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
I
It looks
think
like
so, I think
looks like
so.
he's celebrating that one, but he might have said it during the hand or something cheeky. But
We
we'll,
may need one of our mods to check in. The chat over here is too far away for me to be monitoring completely.
got Michael, the player who played in the 1-1 stream the other day, won the free roll there. He says hi. Thanks very much for joining us, mate. Hey, he's in the chat. He was wondering why he couldn't last time. Maybe some tickets for new followers. She was 1988 was the angle there. I'm
It's
just
not a
gonna
bad idea, actually.
I'm just going to pop over and see what's developing in the raffle.
Okay, so we may have another raffle update. Unfortunately, Duncan was not here.
10-second warning for all players.
Ooh, we have a warning.
Sacramento, Duncan Higgins, and Carmen Gluzov.
Ooh, so 4 winners, actually.
If you're in the room, you have 10 seconds to make yourself known.
8 fold.
Paging Duncan. If you're listening to the stream, Duncan, hurry and get to Aspers.
2 fold.
Oh. Okay, so it looks like a bunch of new names are going to be called out for the raffle, for the package. Just because you're not at Aspers and you weren't part of this Cash Game Festival, you could still win a package yourself and be part of the next one. Not from the raffle, but you'll have to earn it yourself in a free roll, a 2,000 euro free roll at 32 Red Poker. The password is Sunny Beach. It takes place at 8 o'clock. 1,500 euro package to the winner, and 500 euros in cash going out to other places as well, depending on how many people enter. Rano won a package. Wow, Rano! So it looks like we will be seeing Estonian Jesus in Sunny Beach, Bulgaria.
Raise 8.
He's been grinding hard, actually. Even though he's a tournament player at this Cash Game Festival, he was playing every night.
7 fold.
I will try to head to the keyboard. Okay, there's all the details about the free roll. Once again, it's the winner of that free roll will walk away with a Cash Game Festival Bulgaria package at Platinum Casino Sunny Beach, August 8th through 12th, valued at 1,500 euros, giving you everything you need. Thank you very much to 32 Red Poker for hosting this free roll at 8 p.m. Players that want to rebuy can do so for 5 euros, get another 1,500 chips, double their stack up, or wait till they bust out in the first hour and just buy in for a fresh stack. There's also 5 euro add-ons for another 3,000 chips. Great structure, great prizes. There's really no reason if you are at home not to be watching the stream and playing this at the same time. So a cheeky little pot for Forbes, but every little bit helps.
If you're in the room, please let us know. You have 10 seconds left.
Yes, Franke. Franke's pointing out the rakeback deal. This is why I personally play at 32 red. Obviously, I have accounts at many sites, but at Microgaming, no matter how much you play, you get 30% rakeback. You can play 1 hand a month. You can play 1,000 hands a month. They use a redback system, so there's no fancy chests or missions that you need to complete to get this. When you hit a certain amount that's worth €1, you can go into your redbacks area and claim the euro. It looks like we have another winner.
So Mike was asking about the fish party. Basically, that's what we were talking about earlier. And yeah, so what we were saying is he's asking, do they do spins? That's the equivalent. We've got a couple of free tickets, so stay tuned and we'll be able to get you in the mix for that. Right, now we're going to see a bit of action here.
Yeah,
Forbes.
this is an action one.
Yeah, Forbes in the big blind. She's made it 12 to go, is she?
Yeah, will Forbes find the 3-bet, or is he going to just flat here?
I think with the button, the added button sort of incentive as well, he's probably going to go for a 3-bet here. She's going to be opening like almost 100%, and she has shown that she's not afraid to dance, let's say.
No.
So,
she was for the first 10-15 minutes, I think,
was.
just getting the bearings, but since then she's been as active as anybody.
Yeah, I think you can either go, one of two ways, but certainly a lot of merit to 3-betting. Certainly a lot of merit to 3-betting.
So a good flop for Forbes. He went check
That's
though.
an unfortunate turn card. She does decide to check back with the ace high backdoor flush draw and does turn top pair. That's really unfortunate for Forbes. A lot of the checkbacks on the flop are going to include hands like ace high, so it's a really good board for her to bluff at as well as just bet, and he lets it go.
And an extra 12 pounds it looks like on the button on top as well.
So she's going to take that. She's won, I think, every button so far, right?
Yeah, and she's showing the ace as well, so she's showing that she wasn't completely full.
I think that's a really important thing to do, because she's going to basically be barreling there with all sorts. So I think she wants to just sort of show the fact that, yeah, I had it this time, but next time it might be a different story.
She's just going to steal it every time. I quit.
Are you going to be playing the free roll?
Yeah, if we can get myself sorted for the account. I think we had a guest account that I could use. For sure.
I registered right before, but then I realized that I wasn't going to play during the latter part of the stream, so I may late enter during the break, depending on how things go.
Yeah.
I also want to do a little bit of writing as well, and I can't play and write at the same time. So if I get the writing done, you may see me in with like
Just
30 seconds left,
Yeah.
1,500 chips.
Yeah.
7 folding, 8 fold.
She was 9088 asking for the fish party tickets for the new followers. Certainly going to be trying to give everyone an equal chance.
Yeah.
How many do we have
it's
left?
It's an interesting idea, but I don't think we
left?
can do that. I think 6 left. So
Yeah,
they
yeah.
play 3 plus 1.
Yeah. And another 6 to come, so we'll do 2 3-ticket giveaways. How degen do we want to make it? Do we want to go red or black on the flop? Do we want to go highest hand over some sort of over or underline as well?
We may want to do that because I think the red-black can get messy because we're going to have everybody spamming the chat red or black, and then
Okay.
Fold.
So Forbes coming in for the squeeze from the small blind. He's going to make it 29 to go. Duong having called and open with ace-10 suited. Against an aggressive player like Forbes, I think this hand plays fine as a call-in position. Louis is just in the mix there with 8-5. I think he came over and said to me he wants to get some of the action going, and this is one of the bigger pre-flop pots we've seen so far.
he's at least suited.
Yeah. Trivia, in my opinion. Yeah, well, Jeffrey, you're going to have the edge on the trivia, aren't you? You know absolutely everything about the Cash Game Festival. So Forbes in a bit of a tricky spot here, out of position versus 2 players in a bloated pot. Does manage to flop himself, middle pair top kicker. Be interesting to see how he continues here. Duong with the overcard nut shot and backdoor nut flush draw. And Forbes decides that his hand is strong enough to bet into 2 players. Louis got himself a bottom pair. And what's he going to do here? He's deciding to fold by the looks of that body language. Yeah, he's out the way. And I think we're going to see a pretty standard call here now in position. Don't think there's much need to raise, but certainly enough equity to continue against a squeeze and a c-bet. So Michael's asking what UK sites people play at. I like Sky Poker and Unibet personally. One of our sponsors, as you can see in the background there. The games on Unibet are fantastic. The rake is low. It has that kind of like element of because it's all cartoonized and everything is reg, sort of anti-reg. You know, there's no notes, there's no color coding system, there's no HUDs that are allowed on there. So it definitely sort of induces a lot of recreational play. Let's say. And oh no, Forbes has gone for a slightly bigger sizing actually. Looks like that's a £45 bet he's gone for. So not as easy a call as I thought. She's going to fold.
That's fine.
That's fine, but they're quite deep. She's got position. He's going to bet quite often on a board like that. I think.
It's not that he's shown a lot of strength in other hands pre-flop there, so I think she's running through what he could possibly have.
Anyone got a referrer alias for 32 red? Registering account now.
Really?
Let them know.
Started a queen.
No HUDs is brilliant on Sky. All sites should do it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough software to grind though. Playing any more than 4 tables, you know, it's quite clunky. You've got a short shot clock. If you're not really on the ball, you're timing out all over the place, and that's just dusting off money in the long run, especially in cash games. Tournaments, you can get away with it to some degree because you pay your entry, and that's it. Cash games, if you're in a big pot here, someone shoved on you there, and you've got a decision here, you know, it can all be happening, and it's quite tough to make good decisions, which is again why it's a good site to play on.
I think we're going to see a lot of sites moving in that direction, not because their software is clunky, but just making that decision that we don't want people 20 tabling on our site. So PokerStars, for example, already announced that in Italy that they're going to limit players to playing 6 cash tables max at a time. And typically, when they make a decision, then the other ones that are, you know, the big boys will follow what they do.
Suit. And that's actually very recent news as well, isn't it? I think I saw that online today. Fantastic.
And a lot of the recreational sites, such as Unibet, 32 Red, they may already have a policy in place limiting the amount. It doesn't mean you can't play more than that, but you're going to have to do it over multiple sites.
Yeah.
If you're playing cash games and you want to pay attention to what's going on, of course, you have guys like Jason Mercier who made their name before they got into tournaments, 24 tabling cash.
Yeah. Those days are over because they go
have to be a special
supernova.
Individual to be able to do it. Yeah.
Especially this day and age with the lack of the rake back incentive and the rewards program not as lucrative as it once was for sure.
If you're a tournament player, by all means, play as many as you want. There should be a limit though. But what I recommend, if you want to add tables, don't add them all at one time, you know, or practice with sit and goes. Because then often in tournaments you may feel you can handle it, but then you can't handle it when you have pressure spots on multiple tables. So sit and goes, you're more often put into pressure spots. So if you're already playing 4 and you want to go to 10, don't just play 10. Play 5, get comfortable at 5, then play 6.
Slowly building up, slowly what we call increasing your level of unconscious competence, which is basically decisions that you make. I read this in The Mental Game of Poker, which is a great read for those of you who haven't heard of it. Book by Jared Tendler, who's an expert psychologist on both golf and poker. And he talks about basically the way that you learn the game, it becomes inherent. You know, like you will know instantly now certain spots. Oh, I should c-bet this board. You don't. Sometimes you know it so well that you've forgotten why. That's what's called an unconscious level of competence, and that's kind of what you'd also call autopilot mode. You're making profitable decisions, but you don't need to really break down the why because you just know that to be a winning play as such. So yeah, increasing that means that you can play more tables, but also you do need to have a very high IQ to be able to play 24 tables, you know, profitably. You know, not only years ago, but at any time.
Mercier was doing it at 1-2 table, so you think about him, and then you think about how he never played tournaments before, but then he won because it became the Supernova Elite, which doesn't exist anymore. Yeah. He won that free PCA package. He won another EPT package. So I met him actually at that PCA.
Oh, really?
So before he was famous, we were hanging out quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at Poker News yet, so we were just two players.
playing,
yeah. I still was a financial controller, so not even more than just a player.
Yeah.
And then he went to the EPT San Remo and,
is that the one he won?
And shipped it. You know, and he went to play another tournament, a live tournament, if he didn't ship that one because he was a cash game player.
Yeah.
And then from there, he just went on. But he obviously is a very talented person and
an insane
people know
mixed
him as a
game player.
tournament player. Yeah, and he's also a very good mixed game player. But when he was, that came after all this as well. He was a hold'em grinder. Like a 24 table hold'em grinder, just profitable, but also there to get the Supernova Elite.
Absolutely. And looks like we've got the winners of the giveaway receiving their prize here. 1,500 euro packages. We give away 3 at every stop, and the winner includes Estonian Jesus. That guy runs hot, right?
Yeah.
Must be nice. He said it's one of the biggest things he's ever won in like a giveaway or a promotion, so happy days for him.
We'll have to find out who he's bringing, because it's the hospitality packages for 2.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be Espen.
Espen, yeah, it could be one
maybe
of
it'll be his other roommate, Rano.
one year, 1 million kind of guys.
Maybe both.
Yep.
So interesting
96
flop here.
tuned in.
We have top pair for Joseph. We have a flush draw for Michael. Middle pair for Duong. Nothing for Louis, but
Swing and a miss from
could see
Louis
some
there.
action. But so far, it's kind of small, but that's okay. Building up the pot.
Michael's going to bet in position. He's got the added equity of that little £2 game, the button game that they're playing. And Duong checks over to the button with Michael, manages to find himself a card that he probably thinks is super good because someone might have a 10, but unfortunately no one has a 10 in this particular scenario. And this one's going to get through.
You got a little extra button money, though.
Yeah, a little bit of extra button money.
We have Jack Fenton in the house. Jack Fenton did not win a package, though, for the Twitch fans over here. He just came over to say hi.
Just doubled up.
He doubled up.
Effectively a package. Must be playing big stakes or a bit of sarcasm there. One of the two.
So that's Frank in the background, congratulating the winners.
Our resident co-owner and hype man.
Yes.
So he's having fun, and so are we, and it's been a fantastic 5 days at the Cash Game Festival. Not over yet. We've got ourselves a nice little 2-2 PLO game later on.
That should be sick.
I'm hoping to drop in to play some hands in that one. See if Henry's going to jump into the booth for that.
If Henry also is busy, maybe we get Estonian Jesus back in or somebody else.
I think he might want to play, but now he's won the package. I think he'd probably let that one go. Maybe get on the beers or whatever.
I'm not sure that we are rated high enough to get Jack in the chat, though. You know, we may have to have like a beeper and a 6-second delay if we have Fenton in here, but so I think he's like disqualified.
Fair enough. Well, unfortunate for him. 97 players, and 97 of you in the chat. The free roll password, guys, is Sunny Beach, our next stop. It's 8th to the 12th of August in Bulgaria. Really looking forward to that one. Just having a look at in front of us at a couple of winners of the packages, and our man himself, Henry, doing a little interview for the camera. That'll probably be uploaded to YouTube very, very soon. Putting some great content out there. I've seen some lovely photos. People look like they're having a good time. We've had a FIFA tournament. We've had a picnic in Hyde Park. It's not just about the poker here. It's the full package. You know, there's hospitality all week, drinks, food, whatever you like. I think Louis is trying to get that button game going, just wants to get a bit of action going. He's not really been able to get too much happening for him so far. He might be joining the PLO later. He craves action. He's been playing some private 10-20 games.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
is it the Mayfair one? Does he live in London?
No, he's from Bolton, so... yeah, he's Bolton poker scene, yeah, but maybe I think I've probably said a little bit too much already, so we'll leave that at that. And are we going to see some action? What's the biggest pot we've had so far?
We saw one for 160.
Yeah. And also the pot where Louis had aces. I think he won the double up there.
Yeah.
And the river bluff from Nicola with the missed flush draw against Estonian Jesus. That must have been in the 200 realm as well. So we really need to get some of the action going a bit more on this 2-2 game.
Who in the chat is playing the free roll?
Yeah, who's playing the free roll, guys? Let us know.
Loving this sport.
Got 2,000 up for grabs today. The password is there. It's Sunny Beach.
Should we say that Jack Fenton is putting a bounty on himself, but he's probably not even playing, so
You
we
playing
can't
on your
even do
phone
that.
or something?
I didn't take that one.
Worth a shot
Just
for a
think
package.
of how proud Nick Diaz would be of you if you signed up for an account.
We're also winner has
I think Jack has been awake for 5 straight days now, so I don't know if he'll play the free roll.
I think no, because it's only a rate. No,
220 entrants so far. That's a lot of
That's
value.
nice, yeah,
That's a
nice,
lot of value.
nice.
trying to persuade Nani.
Get yourselves in there, guys. 2,000 euros of free cash money up for grabs. 1,500 in the form of that package for number 1, and 500 euros spread across the rest of the prize pool.
What are you getting on the gin?
Vinny Muscles registering now. I don't have an account on there at present. If you're talking about like the referral or something, I'm sure someone in the chat would be happy to use it for that regard. Just want to give you as much of the value as possible, and got some fish party tickets to give out as well. €5 tickets, the equivalent of the spin and goes on there. You could spin that up into a decent little roll if you do land one of the jackpot games. If not, why not have a little spin with the $5 anyway, see what you can do, get yourself a free roll on there and a chance to win some money. So, a little bit of action going on here. Michael under the gun, raising it up with the 9-8 suited. Seems pretty standard. Duong with a relatively loose call, but she's very deep in position. Doesn't seem too bad. And Estonian Jesus is going to defend with Queen Jack suited. Seems pretty good. Forbes in there for the ride with the deuces. Let's see if he can flop a piece. Pretty much a pure set mine at this point.
Everything fairly standard thus far.
Yep.
Though.
And a lovely flop for Duong. Flops himself top pair with the Jack High flush draw. And pretty much flops everyone else really thin. Michael's got himself middle pair on a 3-heart board. Would be a fairly aggressive continue, I think, without a heart in your hand. But people do tend to play monotone boards quite passively, I believe. Checks to Duong. She bets.
This will probably get through, I think. Michael
Yeah,
will think
I
about it
think
for a
so.
second, but I think he's going to say, no thank you.
Good fold. Well, it's Vince from Gentings. How you doing, buddy boy? Thanks very much for tuning in on the Sunday stream. 2-2 for you going on today. We've had a bit of a slower game than usual, but I'm sure with the button game going, we can try and get
It's
some
been
action.
entertaining, though. I mean,
Yeah.
it's maybe been slow, but it's good, solid poker we've been seeing.
Exactly, and these are the sort of streams that you guys need to learn from. It's not only just for entertainment purposes. These are up there on Twitch. You can go through the archives. If you're just learning the game or sort of working your way up in the poker world, watching people like this, you know, the 4 of the players you can see in the middle of the screen there, all seasoned players, a sponsored player in the middle there, Estonian Jesus. And the man runs good. He's just won himself a free package to Sunny Beach, Bulgaria. That's 1,500 euros worth of juice. He gets himself 500 euro cash buy-in. He gets himself the flights, gets himself the accommodation, but more importantly, he gets to spend a week getting drunk with us.
Yeah, but
Awesome.
he should be jamming a stack in every hand.
That's
now.
what I said. Just chuck it in. Give the guys a bit of a free roll themselves. He wasn't having any of it. He has actually been a year clean. He said that he hasn't drunk for exactly 1 year.
He hasn't drank at all.
Yeah, and he had a sort of a self-motivation bet that he wouldn't touch a drop of alcohol before. And he's just finding out now that he won the 1,500 euro package. Forbes looking bemused on the left-hand side there a little bit.
fives around.
High fives all around. Hopefully he'll be getting around and drinks in for the table. Great package until he said the last part. Yeah, it was a tough sell actually. I should have just left it as it was.
So he was playing the alcohol-infused game last night without drinking.
He had the alcohol-free beer, so at least
So it's
he
like a
felt
teaser.
involved.
Okay.
Yeah. But obviously, you know, a vegan, eats clean, lives a healthy lifestyle. Very important as a poker player. Super easy just to live on, you know, a junk food diet because of
Props
the.
to him.
Yeah, props to him, and he's going to get an interview now with our man Henry in the background.
One day I'm going to be in position against
Yeah, alcohol-free beer.
Another one fold. 2 fold.
So Forbes with the king queen suited from the hijack. This should be a raise. It's just a matter of how much.
Raise 7.
The standard raise in this game has been a little bit smaller than what we've seen in other games. He raises to 7. It's still obviously bigger than the online standard raise. And 7's enough to just take down the blinds. So Forbes is having a little bit of a rough go. Doesn't get any action.
Will I still be able to receive my 5 fish party ticket even though I've never deposited? I don't see any reason why not. Nick Diaz on hand to sort all of that out. Let's go for a bit of trivia. Let's go for, we shall give out, I think it only works with 1, doesn't it? Because then people know the answer as soon as someone said it.
Should I try the question?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're here at Asper's Casino. How many times has the Cash Game Festival visited Asper Casino?
Great question. Guys, fastest finger first. Who wants to be a millionaire format? Let us know what you think. 3, 5, 3, 2, 2, 4, 4.
You have to get
So far, everybody's off, actually.
Everybody's
so keep
off.
guessing.
Keep guessing, guys. You can spam as many as you like. Obviously, don't just start chucking in random numbers, but
Yeah, if you already guessed once, you don't get your second guess does not count. You get one
Give
guess
them
per
2
person.
guesses.
2 guesses. What are some of the other numbers? I can't see.
we've
that
got
far.
6, 8, 7.
Rose!
Oh, Roseboom wins with 6. Is that the first 6 we can see? That is indeed. So Roseboom's got himself the 69, says Boca Panther. Roseboom gets himself the €5 fish party ticket. And let's do another one. Which...
Well, before we do that, let's just hop into this hand real quick because we have the unusual 3-bet from Jesus. This is just after he found out he won the package, and we were joking around that he hasn't loosened up, but we forgot that we were 20 minutes behind. And he does 3-bet with Ace-8 suited, which is the loosest we've seen him go pre-flop. And it does go to the flop.
Huge flop for Forbes.
Yeah, this is maybe where Forbes gets a little bit of his money back.
And Estonian Jesus riding that positive tilt wave. Won himself 1500, goes for a 3-bet with the Ace-8 suited. Flops himself a backdoor flush draw to go alongside his Ace-High. It'd be interesting to see whether he bets here or checks. Forbes going for the disinterested kind of, I'll let him do it, I'm just going to look fairly inconspicuous here. Ace on the turn could cause some problems now for Estonian Jesus. May feel as though he has the best hand. Forbes is it's a nice check. The ace will certainly hit Estonian Jesus' sort of hands that he could potentially check back on the flop. Probably going to see a bet here on the turn. Forbes going for the Phil Lark now as well. We got a little bit of fun on the river. And a
I'm
9
not sure I
on
like
the river.
the checking on the turn. On the flop, I can understand hoping to induce.
Going
the
for a check
3-better.
raise on the turn for sure, yeah.
But if Jesus was scared on the 2 kings on the flop, the ace in the turn, he's just going to check back if he does have an ace.
To try and get to a cheaper showdown, because obviously Forbes can still have some aces as well. Is he going to go for an overbet? Seems like a decent spot. Yeah, as you say, Estonian Jesus can still have some of his like 3-bet bluffs, like suited aces like this, Ace-5, Ace-3. They're all hands that might have checked back the turn as well, just going for 1 street.
So we'll get the 1 street value.
Yeah, he's going to go for 3.
Be too tight of a fold.
Yeah. Jesus.
Even for you, Rano. Don't be a nit, Rano. Give back to the people.
Come on, give back to the community.
You just want a package for freak's sake.
Yeah, it's
No,
not
but
my
for
favorite
him, it's not
advertising.
necessarily always about the dollars and cents. Although he does have that vlog, which is about the dollars and cents. For him, it's always about making the correct move. He does study his game afterwards, trying to minimize your mistakes. It doesn't matter what the stakes are. So I love to needle him a little bit, but you got to respect that type of mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
This stare down is epic. It's like the 2-minute stare down. Is Forbes still doing the Phil Lock, or is he got his? We can't really tell because the graphics are in front of him.
Yeah, it looks like he's completely sealed up in that hoodie, not giving away anything. What's going on here? Oh, I thought he was about to raise then, did you? Oh, he's having to work hard for this 37, isn't
Yeah.
he, old Forb dog? That must be getting a bit hot under there.
He
Shows
does
the
make
king-
the call.
King Jack, that's going to be good. And a lovely little flop there for the Forbes dog. Picks it up, 128 quid.
Okay, so what's your trivia question, George?
My trivia question is, ba, ba, ba.
That's quite good now. Look at you, you've actually found
Good at on-the-spot questions. Let's have a little think about this.
I have a few in mind as well.
Do
If you want to think
yeah,
of
you're
another
pretty
one.
good at these. I enjoyed that last one. Go for it.
Okay, so the Cash Game Festival was founded a few years back, but in 2016 it came to Aspers for the first time. So that's not the question. How many stops were during the first year of the Cash Game Festival in
Great
2016 when it went international?
I think I know this one. So fastest finger first, guys. How many times did we go to stops in 2016?
That's how it is.
And it's not different stops; it's different festivals.
Different
so the
festivals.
one stop did happen twice. So the number's at least
Yeah.
at least two.
I think Roseboom's got it again.
Now we have a 5 in there, right?
5, Carpet Catcher. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
So I'm gonna double check that because I saw
think it's
5 and
6.
6.
Oh, is it? Yeah, it's 5 or
Let's
6.
see. We had London in March
Yep.
2016. That was the first one.
Yep.
Malta, I believe, in May 2016. That's the only stop I haven't been to the last 18.
Here we go. It's on the Twitter bio. It's 5 international live events and 1 online event during 2016.
Okay, so the
So you said
online
the
event
live.
doesn't count.
No,
That's
you
the
said-
live events.
So that's going to be chalk one up to
Carpet Catcher.
Carpet
I believe.
Catcher.
Congrats,
And,
Carpet Catcher.
X minus 5e plus. What the hell? That looks a bit like some sort of
We're not trying
algebra.
to figure that out, but thank you for that. I see somebody putting up pi as well.
Yeah, 1 point. Yeah,
Yeah,
close. Is it 13141 or?
3.314159,
Yeah.
246 maybe are the next numbers.
Right.
I'm not going to try going any
Well,
further.
well done, Carpet Catcher. You've won that €5 spin and go. Sort of, we call it the fish party on 32 red
And
ticket.
who doesn't love a fish party?
Who doesn't love the fish party? So, let us know how you're getting on with those tickets. We'll get those credited to your account as soon as Nick Diaz, the best bald head in poker, I like to call him, gets back
Hey
in
now.
the building. A close second.
Okay, thank you. If I'm going to be second to Nick, then that's
Yeah.
okay.
He's gone for the full bold. as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Which, yeah.
Mine kind of comes in a little.
Yeah, exactly. You got the sides going, whereas he's gone for the.
It's a lot of maintenance to be full, like Mr. Clean.
Yeah, right. It's kind of like the snooker ball look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have 6 given away. Do we need to give away all 10 this time, or can we save 4 for the PLO? How
We
does
will
that work?
save a couple for the PLO. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's save 3 for the PLO. And let's do another sweat with the game. Let's say next pot over 50 quid, we'll give another ticket to the first person that guesses the correct winner of that pot. Next a pot over 50 quid, guess the winner, guys, let us know.
And then are we choosing randomly among the players, or is it the first one that takes Estonian Jesus? He has Estonian Jesus. Or is
Oh.
it like 3 people take Estonian Jesus and it's a raffle between them?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and then
Okay.
we'll pull a name out of the hat or something. So it's Jesus,
And this hand doesn't count because
This
this
hand
hand
doesn't
was
count.
already in there. So
Luke
they'll just
Holly
look that
goes
Nick
for
is in the
Forbes
pot.
again. Goes for Forbes again, a lot of loyalty. Michael's going for Duong, she's the best looking. Apparently. I know that I've met them both before, I guess he's on leave now then. Not sure. Oh yeah, talking about Brandon.
Brandon, the
Brandon,
commentator?
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
his
Brandon.
wife give birth?
I don't believe yet,
Yeah.
but it should be, I think, soon if it didn't happen. I haven't been on Facebook the last couple weeks. Brandon was in the chat joining us a few days ago. I miss Brandon a lot. We kind of started around the same time at the Cash Game Festival in different roles.
Yeah.
Great spirit, but he couldn't travel anymore. You know, he wanted
Ah,
some home life.
yeah.
He could do a stop here and there, but they wanted to try something new with Brandon not being able to travel. So we all strive to be as good as Brandon with the banter, though. Brandon brought on the banter. You know, he was banter king.
He was a fun guy, yeah. He looked like he was. He gave us some good advice. Obviously, he'd done it for quite a while, so he knows what he's talking about. And it was good to get some feedback from him. Generally positive. A couple of things he said he'd have done differently, and I've taken that into account, so it certainly helped. Duong, again, mixing it up post-flop. Nicola with the Jack Deuce offsuit, obviously playing a lot of hands from the button, trying to win that £10. And this is what we want to see, you know, a bit of extra added action just because of the added dynamic of that £2 on the button game. For those of you that don't know at home, the button game is you put £2 on, and until someone wins the button, it accumulates. And obviously, the more on there, the wider people's ranges get from the button, and it just adds that extra bit of added fun dynamic. And as you can see here, you get some interesting post-flop decisions. So Jack Deuce here probably thinks he's got the best hand, I'm guessing. Duong goes for a lead. We saw her lead earlier when she had top pair versus Forbes on the 10-3-3.
I think her image is very solid at this point, even though we've seen her cards, so we know
we know
has a little bit of sneakiness in her.
She's got some tricks up her sleeve for sure.
But I wouldn't mind the fold here by Nick at this point. He called the flop. She let out again on the turn. He knows he's going to be in for a big bet.
And he's all in.
Wow.
Holy mama.
That's not what I thought you were thinking
Holy
about
mama.
there, Nick.
A lot of opportunities, to be fair, but I think Duong will be calling this just because of that button element. I think usually it would be quite close. It would actually be a really gross spot, wouldn't it? But because of the button element, I think...
How much is on the button, can we see?
It's only a tenner, but it just makes the original raise so much wider, doesn't it? You know? Because if you get through the 4 and you can bump it up, that's 14 quid from just a button steal, you know, it's not too bad.
But that also then puts some 8s in his range. But Duong does have the flush draw as well. Even like being loose with the button, there are stronger jacks in his range.
Oh man, Zanny wants his money back. 4-4 versus King. We had all in, so it's 4s versus Kings versus Ace-9. I've got Kings. 4 on the flop, King on the turn.
Oh, it was, dirty.
Yeah, pretty brutal.
Were you doing a dance?
No, in my head.
Okay.
Always got to have some...
I mean, dirty, but
Yeah. Duong, win me my seat. No, this pot doesn't count.
I'm sorry.
But really gross spot, even with that added element. And Nicola, he's shipped a rudied it in with the Jack Deuce.
Showing a lot of heart.
Showing a lot of heart. So his outs are any deuce. He chops with an 8.
I think he's going to show...
Chops with any heart card above.
Show his wad a little poorer, but
9.
I'd like to see Nick get this through just for the heart. She has the money counted out, but still doesn't seem satisfied with the decision.
What do you reckon, guys? What do you think is going on here? Bit of an awkward one, bit of a weird one because of that button dynamic.
I haven't seen her look down at anything but her chips, so that's why I'm thinking she will call. That doesn't really signify everything all the time, and she does call. So I'm not that surprised. This could still be a chop pot, or a 2 would give Nick the pot as well, or would it not?
Yeah, once the button is over 10 big blinds, people go crazy, as alluded to. And if you chop the pot, you don't get half the button. She get there? Have we had the river? No.
At
10. Chop.
So I think Nick can be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Duong should be happy she made the right call, but she's basically doing a little bit of this, a little bit of table talk as well.
How did your MPN main go, Poker Panther? A couple of needles in the chat. 3 pair beats 2 pair. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I've actually been playing with people that believe that rule to be true as well. Let's say maybe not one of the better poker players that I've played with before, but he was absolutely adamant that 3 pair beat 2 pair. And
we should put it in the hand rankings.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe 3 pair worse than 2 pair though, like have it be like somewhere like that.
No, he doesn't win half the button. He shouldn't do anyway.
No, I was thinking as well.
Duong seems to be, I can't tell if she's needling someone or if she's...
I think she's just having a bit of banter with
yeah,
the
that
lads.
looks like she's having some fun.
Deuce is a nasty card. Deuce is horrible.
And Nick's finally back to his smiling self as well. Alright, bear with us. We do have a dealer change.
So guys, if you have won a €5 Fish Party ticket, get our get your aliases in the chat. We'll make sure that we get those over to Nick Diaz, our man, the 32 Red Poker Manager and Ambassador, and we will get him to Predator ASAP.
I mean, like, how many does?
So once again, the free roll starts just in 10 minutes time at 8 p.m. At 32 Red. It's open to one, open to all. Just go and download 32 Red. If you don't have an account, look for the Cash Game Festival €2,000 free roll. Just get right in. First place wins a €1,500 package, and included in that package is €500 in stake money, 4 nights hotel, $250 in travel and expenses, and perhaps the best part of them all, the VIP hospitality package.
Absolutely.
Which is going to be sick in Bulgaria. Frankie always likes the beachy areas to do something a little bit special. I don't know exactly what's in mind, but it's something surely not to be missed. And once again, it's free to play. There will be €5 rebuys for those of you that want to rebuy for an extra €1,500 chips. Not mandatory, but will improve your chances slightly. And €5 add-ons. So thank you, 32 Red Poker. This is a tremendous opportunity for anyone watching. No excuses anymore. You have a chance now to get to the Cash Game Festival free. And I think it's fair to say if one of our regular listeners do win it, we'll get you some time in the booth. You'll certainly have some time on the feature table as well.
Yeah, that's going to be part of it as well, that isn't even advertised, but we will like to get you guys in the booth so you can talk about your experiences with Cash Game Festival and share a bit of Cash Game Festival loving. No problems with that whatsoever. So Nicola coming in for the 3-bet here, cutoff versus under the gun, makes it 21 to go. Michael, who's raised from early position, is going to call King Jack of Hearts, and a bit of a bad board for both, really. I'm sure we might see a C-bet now from Nicola.
I think one bet should do it here.
Michael's saying, what am I going to do if he wins the package? Well, what are you going to do, bro? We're going to be seeing you in Sunny Beach and we're going to be having some fun, put it that way.
Happy, fun, good times.
East Not Luck, I believe that is James McGeorge, who is 32 Red regular player, multiple package winner as well.
So this was also not over 50 because the 25 that Nick put in counted. I don't think we missed a 50-pound hand since we announced it.
Yep. Absolutely not.
Went to Showdown. It's surprising that Ian's top of this list. And looking at the percentages just from what we've seen, it shows you that he hasn't been involved in a ton of big pots, so that's maybe why. So a lot of times the smaller pots make it to Showdown.
Absolutely. And Michael's saying that he's going to be talking to all the ladies, so he's doing that and I'll be taking notes.
Okay.
Always good to learn from somebody who said that he worked as a fundraiser, so he's obviously got a good way with words, quite slick, not uncomfortable.
It is at the beach, and there'll be a
people.
lot of ladies looking to be talked to. That's
Yeah, just sort of hanging around.
Really say that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
No, I don't
Like
mean
that,
that. I don't mean that. But I mean, if you are.
Oh, I thought you meant working
ladies,
girls there or something.
I don't know anything about that, but I'm just saying in the daytime there's a lot of ladies playing volleyball on the beach, in the casino.
I thought you were implying something. I wasn't sure how candid you were being.
A family-friendly show. Well, not really. We're a poker show, but actually, as far as I know, I didn't see really that element in Sunny Beach. So if that's what you're looking for, that's not really what Sunny Beach is about, I would say.
Fair. Whoa! And should be a decent pot building up here as we've got 3 genuine hands now. We've got the 9s, we've got the 8s, and Louis looks down in a spot where I think he's a player that loves the action. He plays 6-card PLO a lot, and he's going to pump it up now with aces, and it looks perfect, doesn't it? When you've done the straddle, there's a lot of dead money in the pot if you've got the opportunity to make a big squeeze.
To 36, it looks like 46.
46. Okay. So Nicola now with a decision. He's got 2 players behind. Their ranges are usually going to be fairly capped because they probably would have re-raised him with the stronger holdings that they could have. So he could be fairly confident that if he does call here, he's going to get an opportunity to hit the flop. But it's a tough one when you've got 2 players behind and you've got to put in a third of your stack.
I thought either we would see a jam or a fold. You know.
Yeah, and
it's,
Michael folds 8s as well, so that just
unfortunate
shows
for
you how
Louis.
effective that squeeze
And
from
once
the big
again,
blind
we
can
thought we were
be.
going to have over 50, but with the money that Louis put in, did we get over 50? I don't think so. We're not going to count that.
6-card PLO, a lot of people are saying it sucks. It's like blackjack. Yes
Well,
and no.
if you don't like playing post-flop poker, I guess.
Yeah,
It's like,
there's a lot of
it's
post-flop
different.
decisions, right?
It's not like, you know, obviously it's a higher variance game,
Yeah.
but there's a lot
also-
of strategy there. It's about playing very good post-flop.
Yeah, and putting people constantly under relentless pressure, you know, because it's really tough to call off like a pot-sized bet with like the second or third nuts and a lot of different textures, you know, especially if you don't have anything to go with it.
I am like, if I'm going to be playing seriously and not like a drinking PLO game, I actually like the 5-card variant. And
Yeah, I play 5.
if it's high-low, 5 is better as well. I don't mind 4.
Which one?
At my
Was,
local, it's 4 or 5. You
Yeah.
know, or sometimes just 4, depending on the number of players that are in the game.
yeah.
So how many minutes do we have to the free roll? We got to be really getting there.
Yeah, and I'm just going to be giving those aliases of the guys that have won the fish party tickets.
Oh, Michael wakes up with kings in the small blind here, and Joseph raising under the gun with 9s. We could have some fireworks.
Starting to see a lot more hands now, aren't we? 8s,
Yeah.
9s, and aces last
We
time.
got a new dealer, and look what happens.
Exactly. Just smacking everyone in the face with the deck. So, whoa, 9 on the flop. And Joseph now takes the lead. Only got about 1.4x pot behind. Be interesting to see how Michael continues here.
Unfortunately for him, he's probably not going to. Unfortunately for Joseph, he's probably not going to get that much action, but
Oh, he's a lot deeper than it says on the graphics. He's got maybe 150 behind there by the looks of things. I think we saw one of the kings folded in the king deuce hand from potentially Louis, so only 1 out for Michael on the turn. That's not going to be too helpful. Does make the board significantly wetter, so I think that we're going to see Joseph starting to announce his hand now, maybe in the form of a raise or a big bet if check to. I like a check here from Michael. I think that there's no reason why Joseph can't have you know, an ace in his hand. Also, Joseph is going to have more hands like Jack 10 suited and maybe Ace Queen offsuit and things that would do obviously very well on this board.
obviously if he just had 40 behind, then I would have liked Michael just to get the 40 in, but he is deeper than that, as George pointed out. And that bet wasn't just for 5. It looked like it was for 25. I think I saw a black chip out there, which are 25s.
Got some needles going. Michael's saying, it sounds like my game, but I've heard PLO is super swingy. It is, but if you pick the right spots where you know that people have kind of capped their ranges and they're unlikely to have a super strong hand. The beautiful thing about it is that the boards are often so wet that if people don't announce their hand and just call a bet, it's unlikely that they have the nuts, you know, because they would put in a raise or.
So we have a winner for this
Yes.
for the 50. For
Did
the
anyone
50
guess
euros.
Joseph?
I don't know.
I don't think Joseph was one of the favourites.
That means we should refresh for another contest, or just save it for the PLO. If nobody's choosing Joseph, or do we let it go to another hand if nobody chose Joseph?
I'm nearly not putting it on.
Michael's posting his 5 and L graph in the chat.
How does it look?
Not too bad actually.
All right.
Positive red line, respect.
For those of you that think the 6-card PLO is crazy, try playing it with 3 boards and bonus cards and oceans and escalators. You know, it's it can get a bit crazy here at the Cash Game Festival at times. Most of the games are normal games, so if you do like Oldham, you do like Omaha, there's plenty for you. But if you do want to try something new, there's always something called Svethen Special, which is a mix of 5-card draw and 5-card Omaha in the same game. Plenty of Super Dealer's Choice games, which you can choose any game you want. I've seen Open Face Chinese as well. I've seen a lot of draw games.
Yep.
This festival has been mostly PLO and Oldham and Svethen.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if there was a DC game this festival.
I'm not a big fan of Svethen, I have to say. There's just way too many chop pots. It's a bit of a rake trap, but it's fun, you know. It's only, I could go over with 100 quid and have a good laugh for an hour or so, but you know, more times than not. Not my favourite. I'm going to get myself some food. I'm absolutely starving. Do you want anything?
No, not right now.
completely sure right now by heart.
Okay, well, George steps out. I'll try to be reading a little bit closer what you're talking about in the chat here.
No, I was
And Louis should be making the fold from the small blind. He only has 4-2 off. We do have, though, instead a 3-bet. So Louis opening things up a bit with his big stack. Unfortunately, his timing is pretty bad. It may have worked against Michael's button raise, from Michael raising a little bit wider with their with extra money going onto the button, but Joseph is not going anywhere, and he doesn't have a huge stack. The 128's not right. It looks like he has about 170. We'll find out soon enough what he bet here, though. It looks like a 4-bet to 97. And that takes it down. A nice back-to-back pots for Joseph.
Gets through enough, it works.
And we're just minutes. Oh, what time is it now? Yeah, we are just 1 minute away from the €2,000 free roll starting at 32 red poker. Let's type in the information in the chat box for everybody. 1 second.
What happened with the button? No one wins it.
And a little bit of extra information that's not on there. Basically, it's a €2,000 free roll, free for everyone to enter. You can rebuy for €5. You can add on during the add-on period for another €5. 1,500 chips for the rebuy, 3,000 for the add-on. There's 500 in cash being paid to the people that don't win. But do cash, and the winner will be walking away with a €1,500 Cash Game Festival package, which includes €500 in stake money, 4-night accommodation at a fantastic hotel in the Sunny Beach area near the casino, €250 in travel money, and also the VIP hospitality package, which will be one to remember. And unlike at tournament packages, you will be able to go to all the events because you can always step off the table. And those of you playing in the chat, let us know how you're getting on. It looks like the first cards are likely being dealt now.
Make sure you win all with the button.
And a nice tidy little pot of 26 going to the flop. A little bit of rainbow action. Nobody hitting anything. It may check around, which it does. The 9 of spades on the turn makes opens up some possibilities for Nick. And a little cheeky bet there. It may be enough to actually get through. If Michael folds, I don't see Lewis getting too cute, although he is on the button, so he may decide that extra little bit that's on the button he wants. And it does look like there's quite a lot on the button, actually. Michael does find the call, though, so not buying into Nicola's bet there, which will be interesting to see if Nick continues along. Nick will continue along in the river. He does get the straight, but it'll be interesting to see whether his bet will get another call.
About 4-2.
Okay, we will be charging a phone. All set.
That's it. Got it.
And just a quick bet fold. I'm sure Nicola doesn't mind too much that his hand made it there. He would have liked to get some action, obviously, on the river there, though. Booze is already hero folding the first hand of the free roll. It would have been nice to see Croatia win.
That's why he's sponsored.
Nothing against my French friends, but it would have been nice to see Croatia win.
Yeah. Well, you can't win if you fold.
You can lose with less money. In theory.
Do they fund you kind of to play this game?
Okay, so you did it right. It's not luck. I'm glad somebody's happy that France won.
Played here all week.
On their expenses.
We do love Maxim, and I know lots of great French people. I think it's more of a stereotype.
I mean, I don't know how it's with you, but in general, you know, like those sponsors, big names and stuff. What's the deal?
Everyone has their own deals, so it's hard to say.
I mean, do you have any idea?
So Louis will probably open up over here. He's been opening in the 7 range. When he does open, Nick coming along and Duong either 3-betting or coming along. She does 3-bet to 26, it looks like.
Don't really want to talk about it.
That will likely get fold, at least from Louis. And I think Nick will fold as well. The raise was to 30, so I think Nick will definitely find the fold. He shows his suited connectors. And Duong shows her suited ace-jack.
Dominated. With the flush.
Button's getting juicy, yeah.
Bang, 20 wicked. Take it to move.
Ah, we got George back. So what did you wind up getting?
Just got himself a black coffee.
Black
There's some
coffee.
antics going on out there for the FIFA final of
That's
the
a finals. Who's playing?
It is his name Lindberg. I've forgotten his first name.
Bjorn.
Bjorn, and the guy with the earring. Kalush. I'm terrible with names. Yeah, Kalush as well.
Come on. You called.
So stay hydrated. Bot coming in for the 2 hours. We should have had 240 mils. Have you got your 240 mils? You've got the
Before
vitamins.
stream, but
Yeah.
And I went with the 240 mils probably each of those. These are 4. I drank 900 mils, but
There's a seat at the table. Are you alright if I go and just jump in for 15, 20 minutes, or would
on
you?
the feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for
You
it.
sure?
Why not? Why not?
Last 2 hands.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll continue with the commentaries. It'll be about 20, 25 minutes. Plus, if I might play the PLO later,
Yeah.
stick around. Yeah. Doubled up on 32 red, says Michael. Very well
All
done.
right, bravo,
Let's
bravo.
go. Good start.
We want somebody in the
we-
chat to win it.
Yeah, we want to be seeing you out there winning that package. That would be great. What was the hand, mate? Let us know.
It's very hard to put a 3-bet in.
110 of you, thanks very much for joining on this Cash Game Festival Sunday. It's the 5th of 5 days of our 2nd London Festival this year. We came to you in January. We smashed the record at the park there for the most amount of games running simultaneously at Aspers. I believe 29 tables in operation. On Friday night, I think we had 25 going. So plenty of action, and the room is absolutely bustling. To be fair, on a World Cup Sunday, they've still got 10 tables running, plus our feature table. Very happy to see those kind of numbers. So Louis in the hijack now, he's cold called with the... Looks like he's opened. Nick on the... Nicola on the button with 7 deuce suited. Is he coming along as well? Yeah, he's working out his pot odds. Maybe a little bit of a pre-flop tell.
I mean, he does have there is about 24 sitting on the button.
Every time you limp, you should donate £1 to charity. Yeah, that sounds good. We get some action going. I'm happy to play some PLO streets.
Imagine if there was a 7-2 game on top of the button
Oh,
game.
he'd have just been cleaning up if he'd have
He
flopped
might have
something
been all
there.
in then.
And he had 2 live cards versus the Ace-Jack and the Ace-King, so he'll be a little bit gutted watching that one back, but obviously... he'd have had an absolute nut dog with 7 deuce suited. Wow! He'll be gutted to see that one. So he's let it go. Ian's
Whoever
check.
wants this the most will take it, most likely.
Louis open to 7. Ian's come in with the 3-bet then, and Louis going to make a positional bet. This is a bit for value / equity denial. He's not 100% sure whether he has the best hand or not. I'm assuming that he would assume Ian to continue all of his overpairs. So, and then the 7 deuce. The 7
He would have
deuce
had a
would have got
6-card
there.
straight, which does not beat a 5-card straight, but it's still nice to see.
And he's feeling sick to his stomach, isn't he? 6 cards straight would have got the job done here and earned him the check mark. And Louis now It's a nice spot because I feel as though Ian has not been too out of line, so probably doesn't have many sevens in his range, and obviously that includes deuces as well. And those kind of hands he might have continued if he had like a hand like 8-7, 2 overs and a gut shot, obviously, and not a lot of showdown value, so probably would have seen a continuation bet. Louis gets the job done, nicely done there, and he's asking to see some cards. They're showing one post flop, I believe. They're showing one card, shows him the ace. So.
And Ian's like, that gave me absolutely no information there.
Sveton Special, hello, hello, hello. Who's that? Who is that? Who's been playing a lot of Sveton this week?
I don't know.
Ed Furness, maybe. He was playing a lot. He was on the feature table yesterday. I saw him in the mix.
But I think he has another Twitch account though, so...
Limping 100 big blinds deep is a
It
crime.
could be Jack Fenton forgetting his user credentials and multi-accounting on Twitch.
Yeah. And I just love to play in the double up in the 32. Let's go, guys. Let's get a chat winner. It's always nice to see some of the more regular chat members and people that are in our Cash Game Festival community win. Some people just pop in and out for the password, which is fair enough because there was a lot of value to be had there. But it's nice to see someone that's commenting and getting stuck into the action take down that package, and you'll be coming out and joining us hopefully in Sunny Beach, Bulgaria, coming up next month. So many people at Asper's Limp. Yeah, the 1-1 games in particular, very passive here. You've really got to start driving the action, and as Michael, we were talking some strategy about beating live cash games. The aggression does work, you know, and in many ways aggression works in poker, but certainly in loose passive games, if you can isolate or get sort of heads up, you can make a lot of money just from c-betting, you know. Very, very profitable. So it's going to be an open to 10. There's a hell of a lot on the button now. It's looks like 13 big blinds on the button. Yeah, £26 to be had. Forbes isn't going anywhere with the 10-8, so he's going to call. And Wong's going to open basically any two here, and Forbes knows that. And he's going deep into the Phil Lark as well, hiding those tells. Flops himself 2 overs, a flush draw, a backdoor. Straight draw. Duong has the best hand at the moment with ace high, but is behind in terms of equity, and it's going to be an interesting turn now as Duong turns herself 2 pair. Forbes now with the flush. Let's see how he continues here. It's going to go for a 15 lead after the check back, targeting some value from
size bet here.
Yeah, targeting some value from maybe a hand like an ace-x that would have checked back. Now picks up a flush draw, something along those lines.
Now Duong's doing the.
Oh yeah. It's contagious,
yes.
Maybe. And the 3 on the river.
She's just imitating, just doing the imitation here. 3 on the river does not help Duong. It may help her get out of the hand, actually.
Any Sveton action in Sunny Beach next time? I'm sure there will be. I'd imagine that every festival I've been to, we've seen it.
There's been one at every one I've been to, too, and I've been to 17 now, so there'll certainly be Sveton in Sunny Beach.
And Michael going into some chat about him not leaving when he's 1 or 2k up. Obviously, if you are 10 buy-ins up in a game, it's never really going to get much better than that. Always good to cash out, and you know, there's always another day.
Yeah. Did we see though what happened there on the river? Did it go check?
I think so. I think Forbes.
He was trying to induce.
Tried to induce a bet from a miss clubs or just anything really. There's so much in play on the button that Duong would have been incentivized to bluff for sure. So I like that play there from him. A very easy check call against basically any sizing that she could have gone for. Maybe if she just stuck it in his eye for the 400, for the full 400, it would have been a tough spot. But only 26, and it's okay. You don't want to get too out of line. Is Ian not playing the button game?
I guess it's not mandatory.
Okay. Why would you want to get up if you win 1k? Yeah, you're deeper and you can start to dictate a lot more of the action. It's just how much of a bankroll do you have. If you have a 2k bankroll and you're sat on 1k in the game, and losing that would be a huge hit to your bankroll, then for sure there's a bit more of a reason to leave. If you're a comfortable player playing within your role, then I'm the sort of person that would stick around and keep going.
So what happens if there's money on the button and the stream ends?
You can just chill out and relax.
So they flip for it? Flip for it? I don't know.
A flip would be a good way to do it.
So we've got a double straddle here to 8. Michael's going to come in for a raise. Pumps it up to what looks like 25 to go. Hasn't been able to get too much going. He makes it 20. Louis with 6-3 now. He's going to come along. He's got position. He's He's a bit of a post-flop dancer, is our boy Louis, so he's going to... I think it might be the last hand or one of the last hands as well.
Heads up.
And I'm sure there's going to be... he could put Michael in some interesting spots post-flop. Michael gets a board which probably favours the opener's range, does have ace-high. Louis now with a complete airball. His check two has absolutely zero showdown value whatsoever. Let's see what he does. He goes for a check. Ace on the turn. Michael's going to be loving that card in this inflated double straddled pot out of position. They're a hell of a sort of navigation, isn't it, when you're out of position with a hand like ace six offsuit. It's tough to play for sure.
Now he
goes check again.
Check again. I mean, I guess he could try for value based on Louis' passiveness, but
yeah, goes for another check. Louis is probably going to be happy to try and chop the pot now. Does check back. Sees the bad news in the form of the ace for Michael there with the. Just wanted a bit more of a board where you could have put him in some spots, right? Like the king jack jack or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Really tough to rep anything on the river there. Looks like he's cashed out. How'd you get on, mate? Yeah. Oh, nice. Big hand coming up. So no spoilers, but big hand coming, and we got Forbes.
no spoilers.
Forbes, UK's version of Phil Lark, is going to have a sit down. Do you want to join us for a bit of commentating action?
Maybe you want to give me a quick break.
I didn't play a hand in the last time.
Oh, go on then. Same old story.
we love the Unibomb.
Were you going easy on me?
Yeah. A couple of people were saying that you're...
was Unibombing after you.
Yeah, a couple of people saying your river sizing with the third pot bet was awful.
Third pot?
Three-quarter pot bet, sorry. On the
37 on
Yeah,
the king
yeah.
ace. What was bad about it?
Well, we didn't actually get any insight into what was bad about it. We just had a lot of slander. So
If he tanked for 10 minutes with top pair, I don't think I was getting much more.
And you knew that he was obviously going to have a lot of aces in his check back range on the flop.
Yeah.
Great card for you to try and check raise on the turn. I'm
That's
guessing.
what I was getting.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I overheard the other commentator saying the turn was a terrible check, but the turn's just a stone cold check.
I like your line personally.
Well, he said that if I check the river to him, he's checking back. Yeah.
What?
So he was like nothing cool. So I was
Okay.
like, I think I got the absolute max. To
Yeah. Got the tank call.
Okay, so this hand needs some explaining.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be playing it.
This is. I want the viewers to note that there was £28 on the button
Yeah.
when I made this play.
No. Oh yeah. He had ace jack. Yeah. I know.
What did the chat box like on the river then in that pot? Like
Yeah,
pot?
so let's go. So you had, I believe, Michael said it was a bad sizing, Roseboom said it was a bad sizing. Guys, we've got Forbes here, we got him, he's not one to bow down from an argument on a hand.
Educate me.
We've been chatting until the early hours of the morning about hands before, haven't we? And
Many times.
yeah.
What should I have done, guys?
What should you have done? So what's going on here? It's all happening. Have you punted it in?
No. So, yeah, Nick raised under the gun.
Yep.
The Jong, is that her name? Jong?
Dwong, yeah.
She 3-bets King Jack offsuit.
Right.
I'm on the button with Ace 10 of hearts.
Flatsky.
I was thinking about 4-betting, but when there's 28 quid on the button, you just get 0 credit.
Yeah, exactly,
Someone's
right?
just going to 5-bet punt it in your eyes. So I was like, okay, let's see a flop. Lewis wakes up with queens and punishes me.
Must be nice. With all this juice, you've got the added dynamic of the button going on. Forbes is wondering what the hell he's got himself into here. I don't think it's a bad call, but obviously you wouldn't make it normally. But with the extra pot odds you're getting from the button. What hands are you betting huge with? Calling the flop. It's a polarizing bet, so you can go for bigger sizing. Unreg pre king.
So the reason I chose that sizing was because I thought he had basically deuces to queens.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to get called, but very surprised to learn he had an ace.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Nikolaos. He loses the flip. A couple of an ace in Forbes' hand and a king in Dwong's hand. That was a couple of unfortunate blockers for him. And Louis with that cheeky grin, ships the big pot. What a life with all that action, just looks down at Queens, gets the 4 bizzle in there and gets a guy to punt it in with ace high.
I was probably going to cold call Lewis's for that.
Really? Of course, man, you got to play it. We're having good fun, and
what did, oh, you weren't commentating, so you weren't.
yeah.
I just felt like I was getting bluffed for the first 2 hours, but I just kept having fun.
Yeah, so Duong led, she limp calls Jack 10 against you and then leads to a pot on 10-3-3. I was thinking that you were going to turn that hand into a bluff raise on the flop.
I'd had the ace of clubs.
Yeah, you had the deuce of clubs, didn't you? It wasn't quite enough equity probably there. Because obviously, like, she's kind of capped herself, she doesn't really have any 3s in her limp calling that position range. It was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it?
There are so many times when I've been playing, someone's donked into me and I'm like, you can't do that. And I float them twice and pot the river and they just have top pair. And I'm like, oh, okay, you can do that. So I just let it go.
I'm liking the deck of this. That's 10 suits.
Pretty cold.
Yeah, Robbie Boy was in there. He said you're his idol actually, which was a bit tongue in cheek, I think. But
was it when I fought the 3-bet 4 deuce?
yeah.
You were trying to get some game going.
You were, yeah, and you came in for a couple of cold calls, and you've called Michael's open with the 6-3. I suppose blind v blind and stuff.
Yeah, they're awesome. You just got to play smart.
Yeah.
Because I know. What do you mean, man?
It's like big and small.
5 players.
One of those days where I didn't have a single like medium hand. Everything was just like nuts or fucking nuts.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a hand in.
Yeah.
I was close to 3-betting. When he bets, Michael cost me the pot.
Oh yeah.
1 bet
I don't
5
think anyone has to do so much.
No, for sure, and you can have loads, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I've got a good shot.
And so she leads for 5. So Duong goes for a bet.
Yeah, Michael fucking put his hammer down here.
Yeah, so Michael's not having any of this. So is Michael going to be making some sort of play? Estonian Jesus on the button has come along with 9-4 off. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, but you got to remember there's a lot of dead money on the button at this point.
What, he's just going for the float and maybe take it on the turn or something?
I was ready to put the 3-bet in the prize.
Michael's not having any of it, pumps it up to 20, puts Duong in a bit of a weird spot where she's now sandwiched with Estonian Jesus behind. She puts 2 and 2 together, she'll realise that obviously Estonian Jesus on the button doesn't have to have a hand here and will be playing almost any 2 as he is there in there with just a backdoor straight draw and 9 high. And interesting decision for her now. She knows that if she calls here, she's probably just going to be getting it in her eye on the turn or the river. Sometimes both.
And Michael can just have any deuce because it's a limp pot, whereas she can't have any deuces because why would she open limp a deuce? So.
No, exactly. So she does manage to find the call, and it looks like the sort of the hide of the face thing was going around the block. She was doing it to you as well. You were doing it.
Yeah, playing pots against Estonian Jesus is the most intense experience.
Is it really?
He just point blank studies you.
Yeah. For ages.
Pre-flop, on the flop, turn and river, and I'm glad I had a hoodie because I couldn't have taken it. It's very intense.
And you're under the bright lights of the TV table as well.
Exactly.
There's a lot of factors.
I was sweating.
And Michael now knows that he's the turn card favours him as well. He can have 4-3. He can have a deuce. He can have like ace-5 and stuff like that. Probably not ace-5, but he can just have so many better hands than her. She's probably going to be capped at top pair a lot of the time here.
Roseboom 1981 asks, what balanced range are you betting flop with on the river, Forbes? Are you betting flop with on the... I don't understand the question. Do you mean betting the river? Or
Michael's in the chat as well, just randomly looking for a new job. We've got Jesus is Jesus, says I just love to play. Tell Forbes he let me down on the £50 pot. Yeah, so we had a little free roll for the guys. We're giving away fish party tickets, which are £5 spinning goes on 32 red.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were backing you to win the next pot over 50 quid. So you let the boys down.
Sorry,
really.
guys.
Yeah,
I was pretty card dead.
Yeah. 20k games or so. And in the bin she goes. Michael takes that down with king high. Nice move there.
So
And Louis said that he was close. He would have actually turned the nuts straight, I believe. You were close to 3-betting the flop? Yeah. Because did you know at that point that Michael had that kind of gear in his arsenal? Or?
Michael's the issue.
Yeah.
If Michael, like, obviously just calls, then it favours me because I don't think he ever calls just to deuce.
Yeah.
And no one else really should have a deuce.
That's 3 hands.
But with the bottom game, it kind of changed the dynamic slightly.
Yeah.
That you should have everything as well.
Yeah, so he could have had it as well, yeah.
In answer to Roseboom, who's asking what range would I bet the river with in that King Ace spot,
Yeah.
I would value bet queens on the river there, jacks on the river there versus the 92.
Yeah, for sure.
And all of my ace-x. So I have quite a merged range there.
So is that why you wanted to go for a less than pot sizing, because you wanted to keep those hands in as well as King X?
Yeah, well, I thought he had an underpair to the...
Or would you have 2 sizings on that river? A lot of people are saying, oh, it's quite easy when we're watching on the stream to be fairly results orientated, you know, to see, oh, he had King that time, Estonian Jesus had the ace, whatever. If Estonian Jesus had had 6s or something, you know, he's never paying a pot size bet, or, you know.
I just think he can't ever have an ace when he checks back the turn.
Yeah, it was a little tight of a check back.
So but I do agree, like, if you want to bet like pot plus there, it's good as well.
So guys, talking about how many cash games we've got running, we said 29 was the record that we smashed in January. At the moment I'm looking at about 10 tables running. We've got some cash game royalty in the building. Kev Malone, he's looking forward to that 2-2 PLO game, which is going to be kicking off in just a couple of moments. I think I'm going to be dancing in the streets for that one. Should be some good fun. Had a great PLO game last night that actually finished at 12, about midday. That I was playing since for about 14-hour session, that one. So Dwong's going to be opening things up. There's a couple of limps. Michael on the button. She's not really wanting him to take down the button. A little bit of stubbornness from her. She pumps it to 30, flops the bit of a dreamboat flop, really, isn't it? You got yourself.
She lied about her hand as well.
Did she? What did she say?
She told everyone she had 9s.
Yeah, she was playing a lot of pots. Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely the biggest bet here.
Can you hear any of the table talk or not?
Yeah, we have the option to. It's in our ear, but usually we're just commentating over the top.
Yeah, she told the table she had 9s.
Told the table she had 9s. What? During the hand?
When she flipped one card over after, spoiler alert, Michael folds. I said, Michael, you just got semi-bluffed.
Yeah.
Correctly. And yeah, she claimed 9s. So.
We've got Michael in the chat, the other Michael, who came down the other day. He bluffed off the guy with the King 4, who you might have seen with the King 4 of Hearts. He's putting himself out there. He's saying, I'll happily play anyone heads up in the UK.
Get down here, Michael. Let's have some action.
I'm seeing Forbes riffling some chips. He's ready to go.
I'm ready for you, buddy.
Love a bit of competitive nature, Michael. If you do fancy a bit of heads-up action with Forbes, we can get a deck of cards sorted, and I'm sure that'll be a good fun one to rail as well later on with the PLO. And we've got the Forbes versus Michael showdown as just a little bit of a side dish as well.
If you press the red button, you can tune in.
Yet more action for you here at the Cash Game Festival. Thanks very much for tuning in. 5 of 5 days now. It's absolutely flown by. I've had a great time and really looking forward to Bratislava. What are your thoughts? This is your first Cash Game Festival that you've played at.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice event. There's a lot of tables of cash here. I'm going to be joining that soon, and it's your commentary is incredibly entertaining because when you're playing on the feature table, you can sometimes hear you saying something like, "Forbes makes a terrible fold," and it just really pisses you off.
The issue is we have to be results orientated because we can see the hands. You know, it's really tough to get out of that and just think range versus range when you can see what everyone's playing. So that's one of the things that I think. It's tough as a poker commentator for sure, and something that.
What's been your highlight of the festival?
Highlight of the festival was when I isolated Michael, who's in the chat with the Ace Jack, flop top 2 and get shoved on the turn.
Oh yeah, that was
fun. Oh, so here we go, Estonian Jesus with a premium holding. Having won that 1500 package, I was assuming that he was going to be splashing around maybe, but went back to basics. No.
He made a couple of loose 3-bets against me.
Yeah, he had Jack 9 suited, I believe, against you. He had a couple of 3-bet, the Ace 8 suited as well. Maybe he just didn't like the cut of your jib, really. He wasn't 3-betting anyone else.
I think he just thought that I was opening too loose.
We are streaming the PLO game. That will be going on in about 20 to 30 minutes.
Is it possible to watch the stream back?
Yeah, so great question from Forbes there. All of our archived streams are on the Cash Game Festival twitch.tv link. Nice. Okay, so
yeah, I understand you.
These guys literally run over to the commentary booth to try and justify their plays. Yeah. A fairly loose call from Forbes and an even looser peel scheme from the Queen 3. And do we see any floating? You've got yourself a backdoor straight draw, I guess. Well, no, he's just out of there. Estonian Jesus goes for a pretty big sizing of just under pot. And here's what Forbes was talking about, that death stare when you enter a pot with him. And Ian giving it a bit back himself.
Ian, also a very intense player.
Yeah.
He...
Ace Jack. Yeah. I've got no idea. It was 2-4-3, wasn't it? Or something? Yeah, he can't. Yeah. And he didn't see bet either, which kind of caps himself instantly. Yeah, it was his only 3-bet.
I'll pay you £10 to see right now. That's why I bet I'll pay you £10.
Yeah, turns kind of like equity denial stuff value, right? Flop, sorry. Yeah. You are? Yeah. Well, because he didn't have nothing there, right?
I'll pay you £50.
£10
Yeah.
see right now with a button.
I mean, I would, but it would be unfair to all the other players.
It's worth 15.
Absolutely. And we were talking about 6-card PLO. A lot of people in the chat were saying, "Oh, that's the roulette, the blackjack of poker." There's a lot of deep stack post slot play that it gets very uncomfortable when you're sitting on a marginal hand and people are just putting it in your eye all the time. It's actually a game with a lot more depth than you'd first think. We try and get 4, 5, 6 going. Kevin plays all of them, so I'm happy to play that as well.
This was painful for me.
This is a painful pot. You're in the straddle here, so Louis looks like he's going to open things up. No, yeah, exactly. It's like 40 quid on the button, and let's see how Joseph. Yeah, he's going to come along for a peel ski with a 10-7. Don't blame him. Yeah. I think it's almost an any. It's any two, isn't it? Yeah. It's any two. You've got the button. You've got position. You've got 40 quid of extra dead money on the button. And Forbes with the King 3 of clubs. Are we going to see a light 3-bet incoming?
It's definitely good for the game.
If I'd known how wide Lewis was opening, I certainly would have been more tempted.
He called me a nit. He said he only had you open his aces. Did you take that back now?
Very poor.
Yeah, it's a painful flop for me to experience.
What, you folded King 3 of clubs to an open?
Yeah.
Ah, Forb Dog.
I know.
Look
at this. But Lewis had top 2, so we would have probably got it in on the flop.
Yeah, it would have been an interesting one, actually.
Because I would raise this flop like 90% of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can get it in against the flush draw, which you're ahead because you've got the pair and stuff like that.
And that's the last hand.
And that's the last hand, so thanks very much for joining us for that 2-2 game. Started to liven up a bit towards the end. Louis, the big winner.
We have a, because there was still money on the button at the end, we now do a 6-way 4-card flip.
Oh, right.
So
Okay,
let's see if we've got that.
Okay, so are we going to be able to swap a flip?
No.
Guys, I'm just working that now if we can get the chip counts. How much did you say? About 500? 400? I've been saying it wrong. Is it Lewis or Louis? Louis, yeah.
On face up or face down?
Face down.
Face down.
Down. Then we get to slow roll.
Alright. to get a slow roll. And if they open up one, like...
Can you choose if you want to play Hold'em or PLO if you're in the package? Greg Pressfield is a 500 game Euro cash game ticket. So yeah, you can. We're going to be having Sveeten games, which is like a weird 5-card PLO/draw game as well, where you play.
That's a good one.
You need to use your 5-card PLO hand to integrate with the board as well as a 5-card draw hand. So it looks like what, are we playing 1-card Hold'em or is it a PLO flip?
Everyone's just
Slow
slowly
rolling each other.
rolling.
Love it.
No, nothing dirty.
I ran my last 88 into 1.2k this week and then bluffed with 5 high on Jack Jones. Sounds legit. What charity are you going to donate to? No, it's Michael. Should we get a him versus Joey Gibbo showdown? That would be a hell of a game.
Fuck off.
I won last week at 2.8k pot 1-1 when I bought him for 200 at the Vic. Lol, that sounds like a Friday night, Saturday night cab driver game if I've ever heard one. those get deep. So who actually took this down?
The C8. What was the
C8.
I like the dealer sway.
Queen A too bad.
Oh really?
Yeah. You should play a different game, man.
Good stuff. Right, so thanks very much for joining. We're just going to take a short break and we'll be back with some 2-2 PLO action. I can see Kevin Malone in the building. I can also see Duncan, who I was playing with for about 12 to 14 hours last night. And thanks very much for joining us. Peace out, and we'll see you later on, guys.
This year, the festival started again back in London. I'm looking forward to the next stop in Slovenia because I've never been there before, and there will be plenty of players from Italy, which I've never played against.
The cash games because everybody's friendly, you can talk to each other and laughing, talking about the other stuff than just poker and having a good time.
It's amazing people around here, so good. I haven't experienced something like that for a while.
I like the cash games because everybody's friendly, you can talk to each other, laughing, talking about the other stuff than just poker and having a good time. You should definitely visit Cash Game Festival if you like to play cash game, have a good time, have dinner with good people, meet new friends and play cash game. Who doesn't like it?
Not sure if we won, but it was really good.
And we are back. It is Jason Glatzer from Poker News here for the final stream. It's been a great festival, and we have a special guest with us. We have Forbes Ransom.
Good afternoon.
He was on the feature table before. He was looking at some of the hands from before.
I'm harsh on myself, but it was a solid session.
And then we have a really fun table here.
You can say
everybody is either a regular or involved with the festival. Completely action-packed. Over there in the purple shirt, you see Kevin Malone. Next to him was James Sims. Seat 3, which is empty at the moment, is Ed Furness, Cash Game Festival co-founder, who is completely in the lead for the Cash Game Festival trophy, Martin, aka Franke on Swagberg. Ryan, Metalface Davey, who is sometimes commentating, 1 seat over. Bjorn, who's involved with the Cash Game Festival, 1 seat over. Oh, it looks like it's actually in seat 7 now that we're scrolling around. None other than Duncan Higgins, Cash Game Festival regular, in seat 6.
Legend.
Unfortunately for him, his name was called for a package. He didn't win that, but maybe he wins enough for a package for Sunny Beach.
Yeah, let's see.
And wrapping things off in seat 8 is none other than Latvia's Mr. Wilson, who, if you've tuned into the stream in the past, you have seen him many times. He loves Omaha. He plays a lot of 5-5, so 2-2 he likes as well, but this is a fun game for him rather than one.
He's not one to shy away from the action, is he?
No, no. None of these players really are. I don't know too much about Bjorn's style, but I imagine he won't be too shy on this table.
So, looks like we don't have a straddle. Heads under the gun.
Ah, nice hand to start off with. You definitely want to be playing that. Even under the gun. Unless you know you're going to get raised and re-raised, but Ed's being a little bit cautious. Mr. Wilson is not being as cautious. That's a fold. Kevin likes playing any four very often.
This is a fold, but obviously.
And James, we don't know his cards because he's not properly putting them in the box, it seems like. So we have a mystery hand from Mr. Sims.
Right. Sweat with Kevin. You think Kevin's going to come along here?
What is the action up to? Because the graphics haven't quite caught up to it.
I think it's gone pot, call.
Okay, we may get to see James's cards. I think he's being told to put them properly in the box. No, he is not. Oh, but we have them now. Okay, and Frank, of course, is in the pot.
Frank's in.
Okay.
Bjorn's in.
Everybody's
Duncan's
in.
probably in. Duncan's wow, I'm surprised to see Duncan folding the double-suited rundown.
Duncan was here playing literally for probably about 30 hours straight. At 3 o'clock, he said it's time to get some rest.
Did he?
Yeah, and
maybe he's feeling
that was
a little
mistake.
bit.
His name was called in the drawing.
That sucks.
But he's an all-around good guy. We've had him in the booth before as well.
126.
So Franke, not a bad flop for him with the flush draw. He might not know his queen high is good. James with some equity with the 2 pair, but nobody really can be that happy with this board.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, Bjorn's not feeling too good about his overpair.
Ooh, Franke getting aggressive. A little feisty there, Franke.
Well, he's got the flush.
His flush is often not, you're not getting called by worse flushes
No,
there.
that's
And
true. All right, well, first pot of the nut goes to Frankie.
and have you met Franke? He's quite a character.
Is he?
Yeah, he's the co-founder of the festival.
Have
Yes.
you played with him before?
I love playing Sweetland Special with him. That's a game. Do you know anything about Sweetland Special?
No. Tell me the rules of Sweetland Special.
Basically, it's a mix between 5-card draw and 5-card Omaha in the same hand.
Wow.
So picture that to begin with. You get 5 cards dealt to you, a round of betting, a flop, a round of betting, change cards, so you can change anywhere from 0 to 5 cards.
Jesus Christ.
If you change just 1 card, it's face up, and you can decide whether you want to keep it or not, but everybody sees what you're doing, and if you don't want to keep it, you get another one face down. Then turn betting, river betting, and then half the pot goes to the best Omaha hand, and half the pot goes to the best 5-card draw hand. So it's a sick action game, even at the lowest stakes possible.
That sounds mental.
It looks like a small pot here after a fairly sizable one. And for those of you just tuning in, just so you know, Franke right now, he's in the lead for the Cash Game Festival trophy awarded to the player that has won the most big blinds out of any of the 10 feature tables.
Yeah, and what's he going to win if he wins that?
He is going to win the trophy. That's the most important thing to him. I'm not sure if he's eligible for the grand prize, which is also a package to Sunny Beach, Bulgaria, but to him the trophy is important.
Yeah.
He won his first
prestige.
one in Bratislava, but then John Kite, friend, but also very competitive with each other, won his second trophy in Tallinn right after, so now Franke wants his second trophy too.
For the bragging rights.
For the bragging rights, yeah.
And it looks like James has got a bluff through on that whiff.
We have a mix of stacks here. Kevin usually likes to buy in for the max. Ryan is usually a 200 big blind buy-in. We saw the same thing from him when it was 5-5 last night. That's Metal Face and Seat 4. Duncan and James and Mr. Wilson usually like to buy in deep as well.
You have to do it one way.
Franke usually likes to buy in like on the 100 big blind level, but then he's gamble heavy. Like then it doesn't matter how big his stack gets. You can see it all get in on any hand, even in a pot limit game.
I did like.
Well, this game barely plays like pot limit. All right, see if
Metal Face will definitely be getting involved here. It's just a matter of how big the raise is. Will it be a pot size one? It looks like just a double straddle size raise, but that's okay. It's the min click raise.
Yeah. Duncan on the bottom with a very playable hand. He's going to come along.
And Ed is probably going nowhere either.
Wow.
No, Ed folds. Mr. Wilson usually likes to play some speculative stuff, especially when he's closing the action, so I don't see him folding either. It's an interesting insight because you haven't seen any of these players.
No,
and
I don't know.
And these players, to me, like I've played with them and I've seen them, and